Hello and welcome to the Tarkis Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about a few things about Black Desert Online, and the two key topics is my current worker production nodes and my new house. Yes, I know I just did a video just the other day that I chose a house, went all through the house, showed it to you. Guess what? I did a Tarkis and opened up a bunch of furniture shops, and I've been making furniture and I needed a place to put it. So let's get into the game. I want to show you my new home here. I'm going to go outside. It is in Heidel. I didn't like where it's located because it's kind of out of the way, and not a lot of people come by here. It's not in the most convenient location in Heidel, but it's the biggest house you can buy. And you're going to ask yourself, well, geez, Tarkis, didn't you have an armor shop there? It's like, yeah, I did, but I was able to do my armor production in Calpheon and send a Heidel worker there to do that part of it. So I decided, well, I might as well just, kind of use up some contribution points and get the biggest house I can get. So it's right here. It's 7-5 in Heidel. And if you scroll out here, you'll see that it's right here. Let's quickly look at the house. I want to show you what I've done with it. And again, like I said, I opened up some furniture shops. So everything you see here, I pretty much made myself in the game. I just had materials and I made the items. I'll point out the items that I didn't make, so you can see. But I'm in the process of going to be covering all these walls with these tapestries. I'm going to make a couple other tapestries. I got a few workshops now, or at least I got down to one workshop. I think I changed one of the workshops to something else this morning. But that's what's great about locations, is you can swap them in and out depending on what your needs are. So we'll go in here. I call this my blacksmith area. I got my anvil here. I've got a couple suits of armor on the table here. My cooling pot here. Yes, I've got a doll fetish. Check out these dolls. Actually, let me shut the UI off so you don't have to. There we go. There we go. Good. So check out these dolls. I mean, I've been making these dolls. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I might sell some of them, or I can make some freaky thing upstairs with them. I don't know. But yeah, I'm trying to make it so that it doesn't seem cluttered and it still has functionality. And I'm still moving things around. So you've got your center space for doing your, doing the work. I'm trying my best to give it like a blacksmith armor feel in this room. Well, that's this room here. Oh, and I got this little gizmo here. I don't play with the sound on, so I know it does something when I hit the R key. Yes, so it's obviously making sound. All right, and here's my kitchen. I put my countertop up, and I'll be doing some more decal in here as I build more items for this house. Yeah. All right, let's go upstairs. So the animal heads, I actually bought those off the auction house or the marketplace. I didn't go get those myself. Rest of the stuff I did. I'm setting it up here. I'll be doing something up here too with these tables, because what's great about decor in this game, you get more points for the decor if it's actually in a practical location. So if I take a candlestick and actually let me show you. I'll show you so you'll know. So if I go to moving things around here, and I want to go down to my first floor, just like anything in this game, if it makes sense for where it's located, then they give you bonus points. So I'm going to try to move this candlestick around. So on the floor, it's going to give me no bonus points. But as soon as I move it to the table, whoop, there it goes. It gives me points plus 5. So it gives you points, and points are important now, and I want to mention why that is that every day I get money from the game gods, I guess. It says something about fame fund. It's like it equates to almost like $500,000. It's amazing. I think it's like 400 and something thousand silver every day I get mailed by the game. saying, look, you got fame in your house, and boom, here's $500,000. And it's like, okay, that's cool. And I've noticed the more I put into the house, the more money I make from that. So I guess that's their way of enticing people to actually do something with their homes, so that they'll just get a constant income every day without really doing nothing, because I only have to go get the mail. I wish I kept that. I don't think I kept it. Let me see here. Oh, geez. I don't think I kept the notice for today. I just gobbled up the... I didn't. I gobbled up the silver and then I deleted it. Alright. Let's go into the bedroom area here. I'm still working on... these beds I didn't make. These were part of the game. They gave these to me. So I guess it's the beds are the only things I did not contribute to myself. Alright. So yeah, I'll be moving these candlesticks to a more proper location so it doesn't look so creepy. Maybe put a couple on these tables here to get the extra points. Alright, well, this is what I just wanted to show you, is what my house currently looked like. And I'm happy with the space because it allows me to do quite a bit. I'll be able to make some more furniture and really get this thing decoed out. Alright, well, let's look at my worker empire right now, because that was what a couple people asked me to point out. And I'm going to start with hideout. And this is where you're going to need to seatbelt yourself in, because this is going to take me probably 10 minutes to explain all this. So if you're not really into me explaining what I'm currently doing, this is the time to say, hey, Tarkis, your house is great. I'm out of here. But if you really want to know what I'm doing in the game currently, then stick around. Alright, so in Heidel, I've got a few factories going. This factory here is doing a refinery. And I'm making grade 3 armor reform stones. There's a factory here, 9-4, doing the same thing, armor reform stone. I'm just going to try to systematically go up the map here, and as I see things, whoop, don't want that. As I see things turning here, I'll click on them. So this, I am currently running a... Nope, what the heck? I gotta zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Okay, here I've got a factory going that's just making me ignits, or the bars, and this one's making me the steel that I need. So this factory is needed to make the grade 3 armor reform stones, because steel is a component of it. So that's all you have to make sure is you got the melted iron shards and the coal in your inventory, and this guy will make 5 every 20 something minutes. Alright, gonna go here, and that was 2-1. Let's get to the top of Heidel here. I got a factory going here, and this is doing maple plywood. But what's great about this is, depends on what I've got in my warehouse. I'll have this guy make maple, I'll have him make pine, I'll have him make cedar. And it was just an easier way for me to get more passive income, because this guy is just converting my planks. And if I spend a couple hours a week just beating on the raw components, like the logs or the cedar logs or whatnot, and get the planks, then this kind of works out for me. And I can have him jump around depending on what kind of planks I have in my inventory or my warehouse. Alright, so that was 3-2. Okay, at 4-2, I've got another steel manufacturer. Yeah, I like to make a lot of steel. I am having them do it because I've got too much, I've got too much other things I want to do. I want to play the game. I don't want to have to make those kind of components. It looks like here on 4-3, I've got an open slot. This is another wood factory. And before I make a change, and this is always good, don't make your change unless if you just want the old worker to repeat it, right? I mean, that's what I want. So I want to go here, and if everything's lined up correctly and I hit repeat, that shop that we were just at will go right back to it. Should have restarted again, and that's exactly what it is. So I didn't have to really manage it other than give the guy the beer to move to start the process. All right, so we did 8-2. I think we were over okay, at the very top here, I've got another factory going here for the armor. So that's 3 so far in Heidel that I've got doing this. And that one is 8-1. Okay, this is, I believe, this is where I was when whoop, sorry about that, guys. Hitting too many buttons. This is where I end up. So here at 8-2, this is again another wood factory, and again this person's making me plywood. That's what's great about these factories. I can just have them do. This one's making me brass, and the reason why I need the brass is for the furniture I've been building. A lot of that Calpheon furniture requires the brass, so I've got that guy making brass bars, and that's in 7-2. And I think, okay, and then I've got this here 7-4, which is a costume. And what I've done is I have a worker in Villia that runs down and works this shop, and he goes, whoop, man, I keep on hitting the extra button, and I don't mean, and he runs from Villia, sorry, to Heidel. He makes the uniforms, and then he brings them back to this shop. And I just haven't sent him out. I think actually sent him to be promoted. I'm not in a hurry for him to do this for me. As you can see, I'm just pack ratting. I found that making the +2s, you get a couple mil for those. So that's what I've been doing, slamming them together. And to get +2, just get 18 fail stacks, and then take a regular one and a +1 and slam it together, and you'll make it a +2. I find at 18, 19 fail stacks, you'll be able to do it easy enough. Okay, so that explains that costume mill, and why it's not running is because I sent them off to promotion, I believe. Okay, and then that pretty much is the entire tour for Heidel. And I don't think I missed any. So that you can see they're just doing their thing. Now, from Heidel, we're going to go down to Glish. And in Glish, I believe I've only got one. Yeah, I've only got one factory going here in Glish. And this is a Heidel worker that runs down here and uses his factory and is making the grade 3 armor reform stones. So I have a Heidel worker that runs down here and does that. As you can see, I've got a few workers in Glish that have gone out, and I've got one guy in Glish that is going and getting the pine timber, and I have one guy in Glish that is running out and getting iron ore, and that iron ore node is getting me these rough crystal drops, and the pine node is getting me the monk's branch. And I obviously have got another 2 guys here that is I got another guy doing flax and another guy that's doing wheat. So I got quite a few guys coming out of Glish getting these nodes. And I'll quickly just pan over. I don't want to go through all the working nodes. I just was trying to do factory nodes. But as you can see, the pine nodes here. Here is where the tin node is, or the iron node for the mud crystals. I believe the wheat node, I've got the guy running over here. So you'll figure that out. I'm really just talking workshops today. So that takes care of that location. And then in Calpheon, I keep doing that extra click, I'm sorry for that. In Calpheon, I got a few workers that are running out of Calpheon that are going to this node, going to the birch node, going to another iron node, and the iron node is giving me this drop, and the birch node is giving me this special drop, and these are for my beer manufacturing. So they're going out, and mostly those nodes are in this area here is where I've sent them. But within the city, I do have a few shops, and that's what I really want to talk about here. And I think that's what the question was about. How do you got, you got workers running around. What do you got them doing now? Well, the first shop here that I want, and this Calpheon's so large, so I'm just going to try to breeze over this. 2-7. If you go to 2-7, you'll be able to do another armor reform place. And you're asking yourself, why are you doing so many of these? Well, because they're making me money. I mean, I'll show you how much these get. And they definitely sell. Okay, and then and what's great about it is look at the things that are below it. Like this is a storage. Now you can change this to a refinery. For a little while, I changed this to a refinery because you have to buy this building anyway. You have to buy 2-7 to get into, well, second, okay, it's both 2-7, first floor, second floor. But for you to get into the second floor to get that reform factory going, you have to, or that refinery to make those stones, you have to have this anyway. So you can make it a refinery for a few days as long as you've got the components, and you can make the armor stones. So I was doing that for a little while, and I stopped doing it. I'm not doing it right now. I wanted to save up on my black powder. And then if you go down one more building, you could, whoop, I clicked on the guild building instead of, go down one more building, you can see what you can make it a handicraft shop if that's what you want to do. But I've kept them all storage for now because I really just trying to get the most bang for my buck without having to micromanage much. All right, so coming across the street here, we've got 4-5, I believe that is. Yep, that's 4-5. And again, surprise, surprise, it's a grade 3 armor reform place. And again, you can look at all the, now this is the factory that I was just telling you about. This is the one furniture factory that I kept, and I can go to manage here, and I want to send the guy out of Heidel because that's where I am from. So let's see, well, that's where most of my stuff is from. That's where I keep it. So here I got a 30 level Heidel worker. So let me grab him, and from that town, I've got materials to make more of those tapestries, or I can make a multi carpet. I think I want another floor carpet. One is knitting yarn, and this one is, they're both knitting yarn, which is great. And that's why I'm not making those craftsman clothes, because my knitting yarn is going into this production stuff. And that's why I sent that guy off to promotion. You know, I haven't made either one of these, so I'm just going to make this to see what it looks like. These are what's on my walls. So what I'm going to do is just make a bunch of stuff out of this shop and stick it in my house. And yeah, I'm bleeding money doing this because I'm taking all my knitting yarn that was making me millions a week, and I'm now just investing it in my house, which is fine. I at this point, I got enough money. I don't need to worry about, and I could sell this stuff after I've made it. Some of the stuff that you make in these shops, and as you can see, the shop's going now, and some of the things that you make in these shops, you can't sell on the marketplace. The building is 4-5, so you can't sell it on the marketplace, like the candlesticks and those things you saw on my walls. They can't be posted on the marketplace. So be selected if you're making a furniture shop to make you money, and it will make you money if you pick the right furnitures, like tables. They'll go for a lot. If you make an item that can't sell in the auction place, then you're at the mercy of the vendor, or you put it in your house. Okay, so the other items that are below that I needed to buy to get there are all storage. Alright, let's scroll out some more. I believe I've got another group of them right here. I think this finalizes my group of workers. Yeah. I've got this worker here, surprise, surprise. He's making weapon reform stones because I like to keep, some of those on hand. So this guy's making he's the only one that I've got making those. They take a different component than the armor. And with these, which is great, I was able to utilize one of the pre-buildings as lodging, which was great because I needed a worker out of here. And then I've got a storage here, and then I got another lodging. So that was what was beautiful because I needed workers, and these buildings. The way I look at it is, if the building's in storage, that means it's kind of a wasting a spot because it's not making me money, and I don't need the storage out of Calpheon. I don't use Calpheon for storage. So every once in a while, like if I wanted to make an armor shop, boom, I can do that by just changing its designation. Now I only can make up to these helmets, so if maybe I wanted to fail stack or do something, or even this, look at this, I could send a Heidel worker, I could change this to a mineral workshop because it is currently now designated as storage because I had to own it to get to the top tier. So why don't I show you how to do that? You click mineral and you hit change. And there, boom. it will change what it's going to be. So in 1 minute, you'll see that I'll be able to send a worker here to work. I'm hoping that I've got an extra Heidel worker, because I do want to try to bust out as much of these bars or the ignits as I can. Because I've just been sitting on. What happens is when you process, when your process is as high as mine, and you process the raw component. So I've got the iron ore component, and I process that. I can RNG a bar, and that's great. And then what happens is the middle product, the melted part of it, then I just have these workers do that part of it. So I am RNGing a few of these, but I'm doing this for time management. I just want to bring in the money quicker, because I could sit there like a fool and process all day and make these bars myself, but here I've got workers that can do it for me. And I've got the items that I need to have them work. So here I go, I click on that, I click on manage, and then I've got to go and see if I've got I'm hoping that I've got a Heidel worker still. I got Villia, oh boy. Okay, so I do not have a Heidel worker. So I could send a worker from Calpheon there, but the problem with that is it's lacking. If I wanted to make the bars here, I'm lacking what I need in the warehouse. But that's okay. I mean, that was storage anyway, so that's not hurt my feelings for what I just made it. So what will happen is I had a guy that's in Heidel right now looking for promotion. And maybe later I'll just get on transport and transport the items to Calpheon and have the guy come from the Calpheon and make the items and go back and forth. It's just that I'll have to transport those bars when he's done back to to Heidel where I need them. But I'll figure it out. But I just wanted to show you how easy it is to change those on the fly. And you got to make sure you have silver in your inventory. It can't be in your bank. It's got to be in your. It won't let you change a building or upgrade a building unless you have the physical silver on you. So that I just want to keep a note on that. All right, let's come out here. I did want to show you down here. I'm still have a guy doing my cedar, and this guy's getting a RNG. This is his RNG. And that in this spirit leaf is good for a lot of things. So I like this guy, and I let this guy just go. And I just do is to get it to where I need to get it is I send it to Calpheon through the transport system here, the in-game transport system. And granted, you're going to pay a little bit more because I don't have the nodes connected. But hey, come on, I mean that's nothing. And then you hit yes, and it's giving you a warning that it's going to cost you more because boom, it goes. Because I don't have these connected. I wouldn't waste contribution points connecting that. For the contribution gains that I get them to work, because contribution points to me is that's my ability to own the workshop. That's my ability to have a worker work the workshop. So if it took me 10 or 15 contribution points to link that, I would never save that in money for what I was saving in transport than I would have made having those points doing something else for me. And that's my take on it. I might as well pay the cost of doing business and have those 10, 15 contribution points making me leaps and bounds more money than just sitting here waiting for me to transport at a cheaper rate. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, down in here, I don't even have a worker coming out of Kepler anymore. This worker that's working this quarry is coming out of Heidel, and this is the coal. And with those factories running 24/7 making me steel, I do have to occasionally buy coal off the marketplace, but it's dirt cheap compared to what you get for the steel, because you're making those reform stones, those +3 armor reform stones. So you're converting your steel into that process. But if you go to the marketplace, I'm going to go to my registration. You can see that I've posted them. These haven't gone because I posted these during the time when it had hit the max. But what happens is eventually those that are below it in price will weed out, and these will eventually sell. Now I posted these about 15 minutes ago. So you can see the difference in what I'm getting. But I'm like, I might as well just post them. So there's a million right there. And this is what I'm talking about. These are the grade 3, and these are for each 5. So I'm just going to collect them and hit collect, because they always sell. I mean, this is, okay, collect. Okay, the cooking honey. Remember I mentioned that, and when we leave this this marketplace, I'll show you where that node is. That sells for a lot, and I love having that income come in because that's just easy income. And then I was fishing today. I was auto fishing for 4 hours in Heidel, and I got all these in 4 hours. Yeah. And people tell me, oh, you shouldn't invest money in cities. Well, I'll tell you what. For every point that energy point I've invested in Heidel, it's paid back leaps and bounds. I don't care what anyone says. Okay, so the cedar plywood has, and that won't sell until probably in a few hours when people get up. I mean, right now my time zone is 3:31 in the morning, so it's slow. This is where I've been schlepping the plywood. The pine plywood's been selling like hotcakes. So the that honey node is right here, and this is what's great about it. It's right outside of Heidel. It's right here. Get the honey. You want the honey? There it is. The honey node. You want that, and what that person is doing is just bringing it down here, and I'm just selling it because I don't use it for anything. But it goes for like 2,000 a pop, so it's some really easy income. That's just the guy's just running up and down the road every day. All right, so that was my house, and what else did I want to talk about while I've got your attention? Let me think if I remember if anyone else asked me any questions in the last, well, in regards to this game. I do have other game platforms that I'm doing on my YouTube channel, and I do get different game questions. I'm just going to go down here and look at my warehouse or my storage real quick. Oh, I do want to hit the M key. When I was talking about what energy investment, that's what this here. I've got that level 9. What I do is I jump onto my alternate characters and I just dump energy here. And I dump energy in other nodes too that I need the RNG drops. So let's just go into my warehouse here. And I did want to talk. See, 15 minutes ago, I had emptied my inventory. Now I've got 10 more. And see how easy it is? Boom. Look at that. So that's 2 groups. That's 2 million right there in 15 minutes. And I didn't really do anything. I mean, I had to go and get the materials, but my workers are bringing in the materials, right? So when it comes to the steel, right now I've got 500 and something, and what you need in your inventory to make it is these 2 components. So as long as these 2 components are in your your warehouse inventory, storage inventory, your workers, which I believe I showed you a couple workshops that were made, will just continue to make you steel. So the only real component that you need to grind for is your blackstone powder. And you can see I'm down to 358, which is not too bad. I'll go over to the marketplace and crush a few more stones for 15 minutes and get 3,000. And then I'll be set for a little while. So the components that you need to worry about is grinding down the raw components like the iron ore. I jump on to about 1,700. If I know I'm going to be away for about 15 minutes, I'll do 1,700 at a time. Come back, it'll be done. So I've always got this easily. It's the coal part that I run out of. Well, I'm hoping that this video has been helpful to folks. If you see something in my inventory that you got questions about and you want to ask me about, I just kind of going through it just to see if anything popped out that I really wanted to talk about. Now, we never went on to this side of the map. We're really on this side of on the map. I'm just getting resources. Whoop. The cotton. I found the cotton that there's a couple furniture shops out there that allows you to use the cotton. And I believe the shop that I showed you in Calpheon, it's the 4th tier items use the cotton. so I can make cotton draperies and whatnot. So before I was saying that you could sell this raw cotton, okay, because if you process it into the yarn or process it into the fabric, no one ever bought it off the auction house. Well, the reality is I found how you can convert this to gold now is instead of selling just the raw component, get it to the fabric and then open one of those furniture shops and buy those and make cotton draperies. So those cotton draperies is almost $250,000 for one of those things. I mean, I think it was going like, yeah, 300,000, 400,000, depending on the market. I mean, so that's what I've been doing is every time I get cotton now, I get it to the fabric and I make a bunch of those and I sell them on. You saw my house, they were full of them. So those you can sell on the auction house. And I'm talking about the draperies that are around the windows. Those are what I'm talking about. All right, so that's what I'm doing there. And I've got a few workers out of Altanova here, and one of them, again, is getting me some more of that cotton. Because now I know a way to make money with that cotton other than just selling the raw component. You can convert it into big money by running it through a furniture shop and making draperies and whatnot. Even those little dolls are uses the cotton. And those dolls sell for 187,000 silver, I think, is my last recollection of it. So definitely get the cotton nodes if you want to do that. All right, here's some more coal coming in. I got a person working some more coal. This product here is also needed for me to keep making those reform stones, and I grind those into the component that I need. The rest of the stuff is just RNG fluff. And I get it all the time. I've got these rough opals. I got to figure out what I need to do with those. Because if I go back to my warehouse, I don't think I've ever done anything with those opals. I don't even think I've tried selling them. Let me see here. See how many of those opals that I've got. I'm going to blow by it, I know. And okay, there we go. Here's these rough opals. I got like, what, 1,700 of them? Yeah, I don't think I've ever done anything with them, so I got to figure out if they're worth grinding into something else or what I do with them. And if anybody's watching this video that knows, please let me know, because I'd like to be able to transport those into money. Same thing with some of these powders that I've got. Look at this, 20-something thousands of them. I mean, powder of time. I mean, powder of flame. I've never bothered even to post them. Okay. Well, I think I've shown you everything that I really wanted to show you today, and I hope I didn't bore you too much. I know it was kind of dry, I know it was kind of the same old, and nothing really new being presented other than my house, right? So I'm hoping this video helped the person that did have a question about what I'm currently doing. And again, depending on where the market is shifting, you can open up different shops. Always keep the armor ones going. I mean, those are going to make you money, but any shops that you want to open before those nodes, like I showed you, you could make you money depending on what your workers are going out and getting. Well, thank you for joining me. This has been the Tarkis Zone.